Shannon Bream is the anchor of Fox News Sunday and our chief legal correspondent. That last point, Shannon, is one a lot of people are having a conversation about today, and that is the influence of social media and the places from which a lot of young people are getting their news.
Exactly. And the numbers continue to show us that they're going to social media. So something that's going to give you 10 seconds, 30 seconds, not going to give you any nuance on any kind of topic, but people trust that. Young people are going there in droves. So you got to make a lot of decisions. I mean, like the White House for right now, the president's re-election campaign trying to decide, does he join TikTok? Because while they have a lot of criticisms of it, they know that's where young people are. That's what we saw Vivek Ramaswamy do, too. He's like, yeah, I got a lot of criticisms. We don't like the potential connection to the CCP, but I know that's where young voters are. So, you know, it's a very, you know, double-edged sword kind of situation.
You know, if you check out the Wall Street Journal editorial page today, they asked the question, would we have allowed the Soviets to program MTV in the 1980s? I mean, you can see the comparison, right? I mean, because the target is younger Americans. Now, what about this investigation in seven different schools over anti-Semitism? They put Islamophobia in the category as well. How much is there going to come from that, would you anticipate, as we see 7 major schools on screen now?
It's a federal probe. And so with the DOJ putting the weight of its authority behind these investigations, I mean, we should expect that they will be substantive. Now, that's at the same time that you remember down in Florida, Governor DeSantis there put pressure on the school system there. The chancellor there decided to pull and deactivate some of these organizations on campus at Florida universities, like the Students for Palestine for Justice. They're now suing. The ACLU is helping them to sue, saying that their First Amendment rights are being violated, while Florida authorities down there are saying you can't be for something that espouses, they argue, terrorism or potential violence against classes of people and still be allowed to operate. So DOJ is going to have to dig into all of those, you know, very compelling conversations and arguments.
Shannon, we are getting closer and closer to the election year, the presidential election year. I can hardly believe Thanksgiving's next week. Still on that note. But this is the New York Times on Kamala versus Joe. She has a lot more to offer than the standard straight old white dude. A lifelong Democrat, she said in the poll that she would vote for Trump over Biden, whom she called too old and a bit out of touch and a bit of a doofus, 40-year-old artist in Georgia. Honestly, it was more of a choice of it just not being Joe Biden. Personally, I think we're doing a lot more than Trump was in the presidency, price-wise, money-wise, income-wise. That is Clara, 21-year-old financial analyst in Las Vegas. I mean, this is just some of what voters say they want in Kamala Harris. And not in Joe Biden. They don't see those similar characteristics or traits. So what's our takeaway from this?
You know what, I got to tell you, here in Washington, it's not just Republicans who are critical of her. It is Democrats, too. There are many of them who are fearful that she would end up on the top of the ticket. So that's coming from within her own party. Criticisms that she's not taken seriously, that she hasn't stepped up on. Listen, vice presidents get some of the worst assignments, like these intractable problems. But for her, the border and some of these other issues, what has worked for her is the issue of abortion, which has worked for Democrats more broadly. But you guys know we have all this brand new Fox polling. When it comes to things like the economy and inflation, voters out there think this president, this White House, this administration is doing a terrible job, and they don't have a lot of confidence in the ability of them to move forward.
Yeah, I just showed Quinnipiac when voters were asked whether or not they're satisfied or not with their options. 72% of independents said they were dissatisfied. It was 58% for Democrats and only 29% for Republicans. So chew on that as we move forward to Iowa mid-January. Shannon, this weekend, Mike Pompeo. I mean, you've got China, you've got the Middle East, you've got Hamas. You've got a ton to talk about with him.
We do, and also this idea that you guys know we've been reporting on within State Department and within other federal agencies. There is a growing number of people coming out saying we don't agree with the president. We want him to demand a ceasefire. We don't agree with Biden administration policy. So how do you manage a department, a federal agency of people who are supposed to be carrying out your policy and who so publicly disagree with it? We've got Democrat Senator Chris Coons with us, who's on Senate Foreign Policy and has been traveling in the region as well. We'll see him on Sunday.
We'll be watching. Thank you, Shannon. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Okay.
You too.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.